one man's life can have such a powerful effect, however inadvertent, on the lives of so many others. How it can transform itself into a gift that keeps on giving. Like I said, I guess my life was pretty extraordinary. In the end, I suppose it all comes back to the whole karma thing. Who knows? If it's half as real as the Hindus say, I may just get a second chance after all. I wonder, what lies ahead for me on the other side?
Let's discuss DMX.
Still, you gave me love. I wasn't used to that. Most of the people that gave me love ended up taking it back. That's something new to me. So I'm asking you for time to adjust. Let me make it there. I will be one you can trust. What I stand for, I put my life on. I do. I guess what I'm asking is, show me how to stand for you. And I will rap for you, sing for you, reach for you, preach for you, teach for you. I will love you like you love me, unconditionally. And I will always be prepared for whatever the mission will be. Give the nutrition to me, and I'll properly digest it. And when I give it back, I will show you word well invested. And whenever I go, before I go, let me give. Thanks to you, Lord, for my birth, for every day that I've lived.
Now, first, I want to say rest in peace to DMX. This is a time-sensitive situation, so I do want to say rest in peace to DMX before I get into everything that I'm going to say. And I'm going to say what I'm going to say respectfully as a fan. I know I put in every video that I do that, you know, this is just my opinion, but this time I want that to be made very clear that this is just my opinion, okay? First I'm gonna start with DMX.
Stopped going to award shows a long time ago, because like, you know, you just sit there and just sit there and sit there like really like and what it turns into is just, I'm gonna just say what it is. What it turns into is like a sucking contest.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I mean, it's like that's all. Like, oh, yo, what up, yo, what up? Yo, like, money. If you really wanted to get in touch with me, you mean you know what it is. You know how to get in touch. Anybody can get in touch with anybody. You know what I'm saying? And you know that one situation I might have spoke on. I told you at the award show where somebody walked past like, yo, let's do some music. And I'm like, right. I mean, you only say that because you just happened to pass me in the hallway.
Right.
And, and I said, yeah, cool. And they were like, no, I mean some hot. They're like, stop. Like, what you mean? Like I ain't never been no hot.
Just like Whitney Houston had a time where, she was at her worst, DMX had a time when he was at his worst too. And it comes a time where, you can show compassion and you can want to be there for a person, but when a person doesn't want to seek the change for themselves, you have to acknowledge them as a part of their own downfall. And in my opinion, DMX was a part of his own downfall. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of DMX. He's a hip-hop legend. But just like a lot of artists did back then, drugs really did a lot to the game back then. And DMX was laced when he was a teenager. His blunt was laced with cocaine, and that had a residual effect on him. I know a lot of people didn't know that, or a lot of people may not have known that, but that's the truth. He said it himself. stuff like that, like, man, and it's specifically now within hip hop that younger hip hop artists and rappers are really succumbing to drug problems and, you know, mental health issues and stuff like that. I feel like, you know, the industry can give so much to people by just making sure that mental health is okay. Just because they come in with a talent doesn't mean they didn't walk in with mental health problems or, you know, without a past or haven't been dealing with stuff or still coping with stuff that they might have dealt with in the past. You know, and a lot of record companies don't take that into consideration. But needless to say, as much as I want to sit up and blame everybody else and point the finger at everybody else, I have to point the finger at DMX. I have to. Because knowingly, this was a part of his struggle. A lot of people go through this, okay? A lot of people deal with this. From the average weed smoker to people who do cocaine, heroin, all of that stuff. People have different addictions for different reasons. And nobody is just doing something recreationally just because it's fun. Like, you know, there's got to be an underlying cause somewhere, you know, or people just don't do things just to say, okay, well, I'm just doing it just because it is. No, people do different things for different reasons. And having known people who have suffered from drug addiction, I know that this ain't easy. I know that it wasn't easy for DMX. I know that it was something that he battled with every day. And a lot of people don't take the time out to say, you know, okay, I know that you might not be able, you might not be in the space to want to go get the help you need now, but in the meantime, in between time, I'll go ahead and be that support system. There's a lot of people around DMX who did this, and never put themselves in his shoes. You know, how did he feel getting ridiculed by the media? How did he feel dealing with his past traumas from childhood? Or, you know, how did he feel? You know, and there's so many layers to DMX that I don't think nobody ever really got the chance to figure them out. Which brings me to Tashira.
It wasn't my strength. Trust me. I felt like if I left X that he was gonna die. Like, and I sacrificed my happiness and everything because I was just like, you know what? It was to the point where, like, I didn't even care. Like, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. If he's cheating, I don't even care. I just want to help him. I just felt like he needed me so much. But when my son one day told me that if he hears his father talk to me that way again, he's going to kill him, and he was 14, I realized that it's my responsibility as a parent to get out of this relationship.
So that made you leave? Your son made you leave?
That was what did it. Mm. And it's sad, but it's true. I couldn't do it for myself.
Tashira Simmons and DMX was married for over 20 years. And I just want to take a moment to give her a hand fucking okay? Because Tashira, a lot of people and a lot of fans get caught up in Tashira just being DMX's wife. No, that lady is talented as fuck. She has her own YouTube channel. She has her own podcast. You know, she stands for domestic violence and domestic abuse and stuff like that. She's a motivational speaker. She does a lot like that. And a lot of simple-minded fans miss the message and miss her impact on the black hip-hop community by just trying to be negative about her looks and different stuff. But if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. So I have to put Tashira in VIP this week. Because for her to have did what she did at the funeral and acknowledge the fiance, and all of that was next level, okay? And it was very mature for Tashira, okay? And that's all I'm gonna say on her. VIP all the way for Tashira, okay? But before I go on over to Iyanla, let me bounce back to DMX. Irv Gotti is the one who started the rumor that DMX died from COVID and a fentanyl overdose. Specifically, he said it was cocaine laced with fentanyl and COVID that killed DMX. He tried to imply the breathing problems because of COVID is how he ended up on a ventilator and all of that and all that. That doesn't have anything to do with anything, but I just wanted to make that clear because a lot of people have been running with that story, including myself, because a lot of people are saying the same thing. So, but I don't know until the toxicology report comes out. So I'm not going to really dish into that, but what I will say is I want to make notes that Irv Gotti is the one who started that, okay? Moving on over to Iyanla, though.
I think I'm exactly where I need to be with God. If it gets to the point where, you know, I stop drinking and smoking weed, then, you know, that's what it's meant to be. But I'm always exactly where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there.
You believe that?
Yes, that's why I'm still here.
And where was God when you put that first line of cocaine in your system?
Right there.
God was right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
And that's why God gives me the blessings that he's given me.
And what if your time is running out?
Well, everybody's time is running out.
Beloved,
yeah. If I drop dead right now, I will have fulfilled the purpose that God had me to do.
Iyanla has a tendency, in my opinion, to provoke certain people. And what I didn't understand was if she could have gotten threatened on national TV, cursed out, called a fake, all of this different stuff, how couldn't you have worked with DMX? She tried to say that DMX didn't want to do the work because he told her that he felt like he was at the right place in the right time in his life, to where if he did get to the point where he wanted to stop doing drugs, that was okay. But if he didn't, that was okay. And he kept God by his side. Iyanla does this thing where she kind of presses you into speaking on stuff or reacting to stuff in a way that, like, you feel pressed. Or she presses you to the point of triggering emotion. Whereas, like, you know, she can say, okay, when you went outside, the sky was blue. But if you know in your heart that the sky was blue-violet, she's going to pressure you on you saying the sky was blue until you get emotional or until you get she get a reaction about what you're saying. Something has to keep the TV interesting, and it can't just be families that just want to kumbaya, shake hands, everything, let's lovey-dovey, whatever. It can't always be that on TV. So she needs a storyline to keep certain things, you know, juicy. And I figured, in my opinion, I think she just added a little more ammunition to the episode because she might have not wanted to work with DMX before he even got on the show, okay? But because her schedule is sometimes already set in stone, she might have already had booked DMX for the show, so she couldn't back out of it, okay? I think it was fucked up that she brought his son on there. I do think that's fucked up. Even though Tashira made it clear that it was her son's opinion or her son's choice to go on there, I still think it's fucked up. Because originally it was supposed to be Tashira and DMX. And I feel like that should have been on national television. What are they going through in their marriage? Or that should have been two adults, not you bringing a child on TV as ammunition to get a reaction out of his father. Then ultimately, when DMX isn't with the shit, now you want to backtrack and now you want to back out to say, oh, well, he was this and he was too difficult and it was this and it was this and it was this. But you weren't worried about that when you were on the show digging into his story. You weren't worried about what he was going through. And Iyanla has a tendency to do that to people. Just like the girl that said she was going to beat Iyanla's ass. Just like the multiple couples that have been on her show that have walked out and said that she does shit in a weird ass way. Production. Just like Tamar said in her episode that I did on her, production. Like it doesn't make sense. When she got approached on the show by one of the families, the husband of the family approached Iyanla in the episode, and her son had to get involved. Oh, but she continued to work with that family, didn't she? She did. So I'm still confused as to how couldn't she work with DMX? So I'm trying to figure out, okay? But she failed, okay? That's gonna be it for this episode. Next week, Monique versus the people. Now that I've presented my case in this episode, you let me know what you think. I kept it short, simple, and sweet in this episode because this DMX situation is still fresh. But there was a lot that I did want to say, and there was a few things that I did want to talk about. And I did want to bring my opinion to my platform. So here I am. But next week, join me for Armani's Got the Heat. Episode 10. Monique versus the people. We're literally 2 more episodes until the season is over. And I'm going to be back on July 4th with season 2. Okay? So, hold your horses. It's a lot more coming. Thank you for watching.
Oh, 'cause with it, you want it, come and get it. Took it, then we split it. Damn right we did it. What the F you gon' do when we run up on you? Messing with the wrong crew. Don't know what we